Okay, so this is the video of us checking on the bees today. Today is, I think, April 26th, 2023. It's around 5:15, 5:30 p.m. And we haven't been in to see the bees since we installed them, the prior Sunday, so what are we, about 10 days down, 11 days down. So what you see is me and Noah. This is his first time with the bees. Trying to enter into the hive. As you can see, we're having a little bit of trouble with the smoker. That's always been a problem of mine, so please bear with us while I try to get the smoker working. Okay, now with the smoker relit, we're going to try and open the hive. Okay, so the first thing that we observed is that the sugar water that we had put in for the bees a week ago Sunday, is pretty much exhausted. So the bees have been eating the sugar water. It's been an interesting 10 days. We had really great weather when we put the bees in on that Sunday, but it's been very cold. As a matter of fact, we've had snow since then. So I was very concerned about the bees even surviving. Okay, well there the feeder is off, and there's a lot of bees in there. That's great. And you can see the queen cage in the middle there. And now you can see that we have some burr comb on the underside of the feeder, so we'll have to deal with that later. The reason I'm doing this voiceover is we had some technical problems and the microphone didn't work, so there was no sound on this video. There's Noah trying to smoke the bees. Once again, that smoker's not working real well. The one thing that I did learn is that in order to have a nice, fully functional smoker, you have to light it a good 20 minutes before you want to use it. Because when we finished doing our activity for this day, we had a really, really great functioning smoker, but we didn't need it any longer. This is a point where we had a neighbor come by that was surprised by the fact that we were doing bees, even though we've had bees in the past. This is me taking the queen cage out of the hive, putting it on the table, shook off the extra bees. Actually, I was surprised to see how many bees were on the queen cell, the queen cage. Okay, let's take some frames out and see what we have. Okay, so I didn't expect much to be on this end frame, so let's put it aside. Okay, the second frame. A little bit of wax activity, but not a ton. There's some bees hanging out. Now we're getting somewhere. And look at that, how the bees are on this. So this is basically the fourth frame, and we do have a lot of bee activity along with some wax comb. This is the fifth, and pretty heavy with bees. A lot of comb activity on there. And that's Noah with a bee on his back. All right, let's take out the sixth frame. Okay, a lot of wax activity here. A lot of bees on this frame. Uh-oh, what's that? This is the frame that was next to the queen cage, and it has a tremendous pocket of burr comb on top of the frame. I know I need to remove that burr comb. I wanted to convince the bees to leave it first. Once again, continued trouble with the smoker. Some of the bees have moved. I'm just going to peel this off of here. A little more smoke here, please. Okay. It's peeling off nicely, nice and easy. At this point, I realized that if that were to fall on the ground, I would have some pretty unhappy bees. So I decided to move the frame. You can see me moving it back. I wanted it to fall on the other frames. That way any bees that were jostled would just go into the hive. As you can see, they did not go into the hive. They started flying around. Put this frame back in. I need to do something with that burr. This is where I decided to skewer it with my hive tool, carry it over to the table that I have down there. My supply table. Okay, so Noah and I are going to put the hive back together at this point. I know I could have gone and checked a few more frames, but I really knew that I just wanted to get in and check that the queen had been released and that the bees were beginning to make some honeycomb. So getting to the center of the hive caused gave me that information. Noah smiling for the camera. Just pull everything back to where it's supposed to be. Get the proper spacing between the frames. Get the proper spacing between the frames. All right, let's see about this queen cage. Let's shake these bees back into the hive. Oh no, the queen was never released. So she's been in the cage now for the past 10 days, plus the shipping prior to that. But she did seem very vigorous. She was still in there with her attendants, alive and very, she was moving around. taken some burr comb off of the queen cage. And now what I really wanted to try to do was to remove the candy plug. It appears that I might have had the cage too high in the hive box, and it might have been butting up against the bottom of the feeder, and therefore the bees couldn't get in to release the queen. Here I am trying to remove the candy plug so that the queen can come out. Then I figured, she's been in there with those bees for a good long time at this point, so they probably have accepted her. I just ripped the screening off the top of the cage, and now I'm just going to see if I can convince her to go into the hive. So dump the bees out, shake the bees out. She was the last one out. She did not want to let go. So eventually I did. She fell onto the top of the frames and immediately scampered into the hive. So I felt pretty good about that. Having Noah do a little more smoking here because I need those bees to go down. I don't want to squish anybody with the feeder. Now this is my son Eric smoking the bees. All right, they're in. Okay, let's bring that feeder over. Oh, that's right. I wanted to put a pollen patty on there first. It's been so cold, I wanted to give them every opportunity. So I've never used a pollen patty before, so this will be my first attempt, and we'll see how it goes. Let's get rid of these bees that are on this burr comb. They all went in. That's great. See, a little bit windy out there. The smoke is just blowing right away. All right, here I am with the feeder. I had to take some time to scrape the burr comb off of the bottom of the feeder. Remember, I had that burr comb. Now let's fill it up again with some more sugar syrup for them. Here it is. Here's the sugar syrup. I made that myself. So this is my grandson Noah's first time ever with the bees, and he's so very brave. Okay, I'm going to get the cover, put the cover back on. All right, hive is all buttoned back up. Now all we need to do is pick up our mess and get back to the house. At this point, though, we noticed that we were pretty much covered with bees, and we needed to address that. So you can see the bees on the back of Noah's bee suit there. So this, I felt, was a good use for the bee brush. So let's get the bees off of poor Noah. Okay, actually